You're watching the Batter Fans Network.
The heroes are back. Beers talking balls, rapping pink and black. Coming live from the 305, it's official tissue. The Batter Fan, Chris and Dan, weekly rocking with. We talk Messi, Boosie, Jordy, Lucho, the Fat Four, to Ben Cram, Noah, Ruiz, Fred. What more could you ask for? Tighten up and get ready, listen in on the pod. Solana and X in Espanol, just to even the odds. Breakdowns and gas bagging, join the tribe and just vibe. $3.99, don't forget to like and subscribe. Don't hesitate, say what's up, go ahead and come in. No question about it, I'm ready to get hurt again.
No question about it, I am ready to get hurt again.
Chris, the Herons are back. Welcome everybody to episode number 297 of the Batter Herons podcast. I am your host, Daniel Gannett, and alongside me, as always, Mr. KBD. How are you doing, sir?
It feels good to wake up after a win. Feels good to wake up after a win. We still got some work to do, but it feels nice.
For sure. And Mr. Krabs calling us out for being late. This is on me. Some of us have to put kids to bed before we get on here, and today it was a little more of a mission than it usually was, but we're on here and we're good to go, ready to go. So Chris, where do you want to start? Do you want to start with the Neymar before we get on to everything else?
I feel like that's a good place to start off at, right? I mean, we could talk a little bit about the roster, but Neymar's good.
All right, so Neymar. We knew he wasn't going to go to Chicago. It sounds like he won't be coming to MLS at all. It looks like he's going to be going back to Santos on a 6-month loan. Now, the fact that it's a 6-month loan, now I know that that's partially because that's when his contract ends in Saudi, right? So, but
absolutely,
what does that say to you? The fact that he will be available again in 6 months.
Well, what that says is in 6 months, we're going to have a pretty colossal signing just in time, I would imagine. So
you still, I mean, I still think he's coming. You still think he's coming?
Yeah, I mean, at this point, there's too much bubbling. There's too much at the surface in terms of the MLS, right? This whole Chicago deal with the founders, declaration of independence for Neymar. Like, I mean, I don't get it, but at the same time, like, there's just too much there. So I do feel like he's coming.
For those wondering why Chris brought up the Declaration of Independence, he's talking about the discovery rights, which apparently everybody's speculating that Chicago holds, which is the only reason he was being linked to them. But I'm sure that'll, if they want Neymar, I'm sure that'll take care of itself. I'm sure that one of the reasons that things have been difficult for Neymar is because of his injury history. Rocco is better than Neymar. Okay, I'll get sure. Look, that Rocco is that like Chris says all the time, it's that backup QB. Everybody's favorite player is the backup QB, and we're gonna get into that. But as far as Neymar goes, one thing that I do like is that he's going to be playing in Santos, or at least you hope he's playing, for 6 months. Yeah. So from now until the summertime, right, we'll be able to see if he can stay healthy, if he is still close to being the Neymar past, right? He's not going to be exactly the same after the injuries and whatnot, but now, like, okay, yeah, bring him over. He looks good. And so I'm kind of happy that we didn't get him right now because I don't see how he fits. I'm not 100% convinced on his health, but I am looking forward to waiting the 6 months, and we'll see how this goes, because maybe in the summertime we'll feel a lot better about him coming over.
Well, and Tommy here is mentioning in the chat, we don't have a DP spot open. Stay away from Neymar. I mean, I think technically we do have a DP spot open if we don't do the whole.
People are speculating that we are going to go, as of right now, we chose the 2 DP for U22s, but people are speculating that Jordi Alba's contract took a pay raise and that he's going to have to be considered a DP now. Now, I haven't heard any official word on that. That's been being kicked around in the Discord, at least. I'm not sure where the people in the Discord have gotten that information from. But in the Discord, that's something that's been going around. And Emerson is officially coming back from Vasco da Gama. They don't want him. We don't want him. So I don't think that there's any chance that he plays for us. No, we just have to find.
I mean, what? Maybe he's going to be hopefully playing on IMCF2. Hopefully, I mean, I don't know. Who knows? But I mean, we're going to get into all of that. We're going to talk about all the positions, all the levels. We're going to get into all that good stuff because I think that this is a good time to sort of take a look at what's going on in terms of the roster.
Absolutely. Before we do you want to revisit the preseason game real quick? Did you have a chance to watch it over?
I watched the first half. I didn't get a chance to get to the second half.
I watched it over. Yes, you can see that Rocco is more comfortable leaving the box.
Yes,
even when we're holding possession, you could see that. I did not see anything in that game that led me to think Rocco needs to be the starter. I don't think that he had a horrible performance. I think the reason that after the game I was more how do I say,
knee-jerk reacty
I was more stubborn. I was more stubborn to the idea of Rocco being the starter is because everybody wants to take every chance possible to forget everything that Drake's done for the team. And in that game, I didn't think that I saw anything that would put me to say he needs to start over Drake. And I am almost 100% sure that if those PKs don't happen and we lose the game 2-1, if Toto Aviles doesn't save Rocco, people aren't talking about Rocco the way they are right now. It is because Toto Aviles tied the game at the end. We had those PKs, and he was able to save 2 of them. And all of a sudden, everybody's like, okay, he made up for it. That's it. Like if Drake Callender didn't save a penalty against what was the runner-up in the MVP chase, Cucho Hernandez, in the game of the year, big moment, not preseason, the biggest game of the regular season last year, he stepped up. He stopped that penalty kick by the runner-up of the MVP race to win us the Supporters' Shield that same night. So let's stop forgetting that he won us our first trophy and that he shows up big in big games. So I just want to make sure that we remember that. That's all.
I mean, I just want to make sure also that if Drake was in place of Rocco, he would be burned at the cross right now.
Oh, if he would have had that mistake, could you imagine if he would have had that mistake? Oh, forget about it.
He would be destroyed at this moment. People would be buying him a first-class flight anywhere on this planet at this very moment. So I think it's only fair to give the same criticism if you were to look at Rocco the same way. I mean, look, his blocking in the penalties was phenomenal, but they also sailed a couple kicks too. So, but let's get to it. I mean, one thing I did notice in rewatching some of the game is Redondo. I don't know where the hell he was at. I don't know where he was at, just like mentally. I don't know. He just didn't play with enough zing. I mean, this is the first preseason, so it's very hard to be critical. But at the same time, if you do want like criticality, I guess, Redondo to me looked like he just wasn't his best.
Yeah, there were some plays where you can see that he wasn't holding his position. He was kind of roaming. I could see where the criticism of Redondo was. But again, it was the first preseason game. Players come out rusty. Some don't.
Yes.
Some look good the first game. Some are rusty. I'm not ready to give up on Redondo because of the first game. Now, I do understand that I feel like Redondo is impeding Bright's ability to start. And that's why a lot of people are like Redondo out. I get it, right? Because I like Bright and I would like to see Bright start. But Redondo's going to be a stud this year. And I'm going to die on 2 hills this year. Last year on Diego Gomez, when you and a lot of people were killing Diego Gomez, this year I'm dying on 2 hills. I'm dying on the Redondo hill and on look, I'm starting with the sound like you like on the Redondo and on the Toto Aviles. Those are the 2 hills I'm dying on this season because those 2 I believe are going to be ballers this year.
I just want people to know I'm not a Redondo hater. I think that he is great. I think that he's very good with the ball at his feet. He's not like this super fast-paced player. But like I feel like he's very collected when he handles the ball. And he's a great passer, great defender. He's lanky. He has reach, I guess. But I'm just pointing out what I saw in the game. And what I saw in the game was Redondo was not at his best. I mean, it's fair to say that. It's preseason. It's just being critical of whatever it is that we see in the preseason game.
And look, and I get it. That this game, I absolutely Redondo didn't look his best. I will not argue that. But again, it's the first preseason game. I'm not 100. I'm not worried. So,
well, let's go ahead and I guess we'll go through the rosters and stuff.
Well, and I'm surprised because most people hate on Toto, and it's turned into it's a redondo. All right, so like I told you, I got on here late because my kids. Actually, I think they're still kicking upstairs. Like my wife took over, so I wasn't able to do exactly what I wanted. I want to isolate the forwards, the midfielders, and the defenders and goalkeepers in a graphic.
Yeah,
I apologize. I didn't have time to do it, unfortunately. So what I do have is I have a what looks like a messy graphic. No pun intended. It looks a little messy, but we're gonna work with it. Okay. So here is the team, just putting their names out there, right? So here we go. That's a lot of names. These are the players that we have on the pitch right now, okay, on the roster. And if you want, I'll add the pictures just to make it a little better, okay?
Ooh,
there we go.
Okay.
So, like I said, I wanted to isolate it. I didn't have time. I apologize. I didn't have time to isolate it, so we're just going to work with what we got, okay?
This is good. This is good.
Top third, right? Final third. Those are our forwards at the moment.
Yes.
We have Suarez, Messi, Allende, Taylor, Fafa, and I do believe that Gressel will technically be a forward because I feel like he's going to fill in that Messi role when Messi isn't playing. I don't see him playing much in the midfield, but we'll see, right? If we're playing a 4-4-2, I guess you can call him a midfielder hybrid.
We're looking at these guys right here in the first two rows.
Right. Now, technically, Farias would also be there.
Ooh, that's right.
But
and also Emerson.
No. No. But Farias technically is there's so many people want him. Racing wants him, and I think there's a team in Peru that want him. He's not going to be here, okay? So I'm just going to go ahead and take him off. I'm just taking him off, okay? He's not going to be here. So this is our squad. Yes. Now, I made this, and I spoke to Chris on the phone after I made it. Remember, Chris?
We were talking about
You told me to add Alfonso. I was going to add him right below Suarez as a backup striker. Yes. Okay. I apologize. I wasn't able to add Alfonso. Today ended up being a busy day. I apologize. But yes, I guess you could imagine Alfonso there under Suarez.
Yeah.
But maybe not, because this is the next thing I was going to say. Before we get into the specifics of the forwards, if you count how many people are on this graphic right here, we got 3, 6, 9, 12, 16, 19, 21. We have 24 players on this graphic.
Yeah.
The senior roster only has 20 spots. So we could talk about the 4 people that are going to be left out afterwards, because there's going to be 4 people that are left out because you only got 20 spots. And as of right now, without Leo Alfonso, because I didn't even add him, without Leo Alfonso, we're at 24 players on this graphic. So
and that's considering him, it's 25, and if you consider, let's just say we stay with Farias, it's 26.
And I'll add Baltazar Rodriguez in a bit because I also added him to the graphic because I know he might be coming. But we'll see. Okay. So again, let's go. Final third. As of right now, we have Allende, Messi, Suarez, right? I think that those would be the starters in a 4-3-3. I know we're going to go 4-4-2 probably, but in a 4-3-3, I think those would be the starters. Then you have Taylor, Fafa, and possibly Gressel. Do you think that we need another player to be added to the forwards? And I'll ask everybody in the chat. As far strictly the final third, the forwards, are you comfortable moving forward with the players that we currently have in our final third?
I'm pretty comfortable with it. Just me, because Kremaski and Ruiz, sometimes they fill in those positions, whether it's due to injury or whether it's due to fatigue. Thomas is saying, yes, a striker. There's a lot of people mentioning a pacey striker. Tony is mentioning here we need a winger. I don't think that we need any more wingers. Unless it's like Di Maria. And if we're going to be fishing, we're fishing for big fish.
Well, because we have Tadeo Allende, which plays left and right wing. And again, we're playing a 4-4-2, so they'll probably be playing the right mid, left mid. But so just going based on strictly that position wing. We have Allende. We have Fafa, which I think will get minutes if he doesn't start. We have Robert Taylor, which I feel bad for because I think that he might not get playing time. We have Messi, obviously. And we have Julian Gressel. I feel comfortable with our forwards.
Look, I feel super comfortable with Gressel backing up Messi. Super comfortable. I feel super comfortable on the left wing because Fafa, I think it's going to be great if he starts. Allende, I mean, we'll have to see how he is when he starts. And Taylor, I mean, we're big fans of Taylor, right? The hot and coldness, hopefully that changes. But when you have Taylor, who's your possible third string left winger, and then you have Leo Alfonso, who's like somewhere mixed in there, I'm good with the wingers, bro.
Look, if you go to say he doesn't feel comfortable with Gressel,
wow,
out at the right wing when Messi was out during the summer, looked great. He had, what was it, 6 assists in 6 consecutive games, or I think it was 7 assists.
Wasn't it like nine goal contributions or something like that?
Yeah, man. He scored a goal. Like Gressel out on the right wing when Messi isn't playing, I feel comfortable with. Yeah. Now, is he going to stay on this team? We can have that conversation afterwards because he has a big contract. He is a backup, I think, on this team. And again, we have 24 players on this graphic, and we only have 20 spots. So there are going to be some players that are left out.
Well, I mean, look, the moment we get through to this list, it's gonna the question's gonna be there. Like, what the hell are we complaining about in terms of players? Because it feels like we're pretty stacked at the wing position at this moment. The only thing that we're kind of lacking is just a backup striker.
Look, on Saturday, today when I watched the game over, Saturday's game, it didn't look like we were in a 4-4-2 when we were defending.
Yeah. Well, it didn't look like a 4-4-2. I mean, it looked like they settled into some other sort of situation there or a formation. But the one thing that you did see was Suarez and Messi were a little bit more active, I guess, in their high press. So I guess that's something that Mascherano is trying to push.
Well, I felt like when we were defending, we were a 4-4-2, but when we were on offense, I thought we kind of went with a 4-2-3-1 that everybody talks to Mascherano likes. I felt like Messi kind of drifted to the center. Robert Taylor and Fafa took the wings, and then you had Busquets and Redondo behind them. But again, you're going to have your wide players. You're going to have your nines. My question, the only thing I have with the forwards is that we don't have a backup go-to striker.
Yeah.
And
I mean, that was Campana. In reality, Campana was the guy. But then people just weren't happy with the contribution that Campana had, especially considering that he had so many opportunities, I guess. So, I mean, look, this is kind of where you get what you ask for. You wanted Campana out, and now it's like, well, Campana's out, and now here we are, and we really don't have like a solid striker, like a backup striker. Now, here we have JS22NZ saying Fafa will be the backup striker, which when everybody came out, Fafa was playing the striker role.
I liked Campana as the backup striker. I thought he was probably the best backup striker in the league. The only time I complained about him is when he was getting the DP designation. I was like, man, we can't get a third DP because Campana is a DP. That's when I was unhappy. But Campana, I think, as a backup striker, I was thrilled. Suarez leaves, and then you get to bring in Campana, of course, all day.
Yeah.
But I think that if we could get a backup striker, I mean, I know some people say Leo Alfonso, maybe. I don't know.
I mean, Leo Alfonso was slated at some point like as a winger / striker, right? But I feel like that's just code for this guy's going to play whatever position we put him in. You know, Coco Jean was also placed as like winger / striker, but like Coco Jean never saw any time as a striker. Get out of here.
Right. Well, I don't love Fafa as a striker, but I guess we could see if that's an option also.
I mean, we got to take it at this moment. We just don't have anybody as a dedicated backup striker. So
now the good thing, I don't know how Suarez needs to hold up. I hope they hold up. The good thing is that there's no international breaks or tournaments where Suarez is going to be leaving us. And even if there was, he's not part of the national team anymore. So we're good.
Exactly. So you feel comfortable with the front line, with the final third, other than the backup striker.
Right. And most people, well, I think it was 50-50 in the chat. A lot of people felt comfortable. Some people said backup striker. I think one person said wings, but I mean, I think we look okay. Now, then we move over to the midfield. Now, in the midfield is where I think we're the most stacked.
Absolutely.
You have, I mean, I don't know if you can see that. The three images of that are larger than the rest are obviously the people I think are going to start: Redondo, Segovia, and Busquets.
Yes.
And then you have backups Kremaki, Bright, and Ruiz. And if the whole Farias for Baltazar Rodriguez things happens, then you have to add Rodriguez there also. All of a sudden, we're kind of crowded there, and Gressel is still technically a midfielder.
And also Taylor played midfielder as well. So, like, you have Taylor who's sort of interchangeable. I mean, Fafa can probably play in the midfield too. So, like we mentioned in the last show and today, I mean, if there's any position where we're the most stacked, it's the midfield. And that's, I think, where we're the most solid. Because when you have Redondo, Busquets, and Bright, right, proven people in black and pink, we were super, super happy about it, right? Now, on top of that, you have Segovia, who's going to come in and probably make a big difference. Maybe he'll start, but
we hope that he's going to make. Everything I've seen and heard, it sounds like he should come out and make an impact. I'm worried that you, me, and a lot of other people are going to see him and not be impressed initially. Yeah. And I hope that some people could have some patience, right? Because with Diego Gomez, nobody had patience. No. With Redondo, nobody's showing patience with Redondo. But I'm hoping Segovia can hit the ground running when he gets here. And like I said, backups, Yannick Bright as a backup, that's pretty solid.
Yes.
Kremaki and David Ruiz, good backups. And Baltazar Rodriguez, everybody's talking. Look, it seems like Mascherano really wants him because they're not letting this whole Farias for Rodriguez thing go. So there must be something that he likes about him.
Well, I'll tell you this much. In terms of the midfield, Kremaki showed a little bit of improvement in his appearance for the USA team. Ruiz, he's always saucy, and I like the way Ruiz plays. Like I said, I think in the midfield is where we're probably the most comfortable in terms of the expectation.
And I'm kind of curious what the chat feels. Do you feel comfortable with the midfield, or do we need to add another piece? Now, if you add another piece, I don't know who you're taking out, because we're already complaining that Bright might not start over Redondo, and I think Redondo is going to have a great season. So, and Busquets not losing his spot. If Segovia loses his spot, it's because he disappointed us.
Yes,
I think we're pretty set in the midfield.
Well, and if you think about it, right now at this very moment, considering how our formation was last game, there might not even be a starting spot for Segovia. Because, I mean, we had Fafa and Taylor start last game.
Taylor wouldn't start if Segovia was there.
I mean, obviously, we're just looking at the last game. Right. But, I mean, if you think about it, let's just say, hypothetically speaking, that Mascherano says, I want to play with wingers. I want Fafa on one side. I want Taylor on the other. I want guys that are going to make up for the lack of press with Suarez and Messi. Then there's not even a spot for Segovia.
A lot of people saying that they're good with midfield. So far in the chat, right? And I'm sorry if you said otherwise. I'm just going by the majority. But the majority, forwards, everybody's pretty happy. Some people kind of want like a true number 9 to back up Suarez. But forwards, we're okay. Midfield, everybody seems like we are happy with our midfield. Beautiful. So our team is looking good right now.
So far, we're looking straight.
First preseason game, we beat Club America, best team in North America. We're happy with our roster. So far, we're looking good. Now, let's move on down to the back line. And actually, let me take Rodriguez out of here because he's not technically with us. So, I'm just going to get him off of there. All right.
So, on the back line, we got a total of 9 players. So, in the left back position, we have Alba and then his backup, Noah Allen. You have in the right back position, you have Cello, who's the starter at the moment, with Lujan and Frey as backups. And then at the center back position, what's projected here is Falcon is starting with Aviles. And his backups, their backups are Sailor and David Martinez.
Now, how are you feeling? Let's go wide first. Yes. Left back, full back. Jordi Alba, you feel good. Noah Allen as the backup, you feel good.
Yes.
And Noah Allen could also back up as a center back.
Center backs, yes.
So I feel left back, I feel really good.
Oh,
and
absolutely.
in the chat, as we're going through this, please feel free to jump in, and we'll put in as many comments as we can. Now we go to the right wing. I'm sorry, right back, full back on the right. All right. We got Chelo starting for now. We have Lujan, who's coming in and might take his starting job. And then we have Ian Frey. I feel pretty good on the right side just because I don't think Chelo is as bad as people say. I am not dying on a Chelo hill like I will for Aviles and Redondo, though, because I thought that he lost his starting job last year to Ian Frey. I thought Ian Frey should have been the right back. But again, I do think Chelo played better than Yedlin, and I'm okay with Chelo as a starter. I'm not hating it as much as everybody else. Lujan, we'd have to see. He might take the starting job, and Ian Frey did a phenomenal job out there last year. If he's healthy, I'm good with him being there also. So, because I don't think Chelo is as bad as everybody says, we have this new guy, Lujan, coming in, who could also play center back, and we have Ian Frey, which I thought balled out at the right back and could also play center back. I feel comfortable with my fullbacks, left and right.
I feel good about the fullback position on the right. I mean, look at this. Alejandro saying, how about Morales? We didn't even put him in. Jeez.
We have to take players off. We're about to try to take players off in a second.
Now, as far as Chelo, look, everybody's putting Chelo vomit.
Okay,
no
for those of you that say no
good.
Chelo and Chelo vomit, that's fine. Would you be okay with what you saw from Chelo? You guys say that he's not great as a backup. Remember, this is
I'd be absolutely good. I'd be absolutely good with it as a backup.
So I'm kind of curious to everybody that's hating on Chelo, would you at least be good with him as a backup? Because at the moment, he might be that. So,
well, I mean, I don't know. Listen, hit like button, guys. That's it.
Shout out Clara. I personally feel good at the fullbacks. I'm good with the forwards, maybe a striker, but I'm good with the forwards. I'm good with the midfield. I'm good with the fullbacks.
Yeah.
So, and I think a lot of people feel similar, right? Because if Chelo is starting or the backup, I think we're okay. Ian Frey hopefully gets healthy and takes over. We're good so far. Now let's move to center back. We have Maxi Falcon, Toto Aviles. I think starters. Right? Some people think that it might be David Martinez or Aviles. I think it's Aviles and Falcon. I'm happy with those two as starters. For everybody else hating on Toto Aviles, he had a good game. It was his first preseason game. Maxi Falcon, supposed to be pretty decent. And then David Martinez, I also thought was pretty good last year when healthy. Him as a backup, I don't mind. Noah Allen as a backup. Ian Frey as a backup. Lujan as a backup. And then Ryan Saylor, who doesn't seem to – he kept falling out of favor with Tata, but maybe he gets an opportunity. I feel comfortable with our back line at this moment. Starters and backups. Chat and Chris, tell me what you think.
Well, Sailor's, it seems like Sailor's never going to go away, right? Like Sailor's here to stay forever.
It's pretty cool though to have just
it is.
Guy just forever.
He's like a gladiator. Like you bring him on and he's probably going to start tackling people. Now, Falcon, we're bringing him on what for $2 million, I believe?
2.5.
Yeah, $2.5 million. He's starting. There's no way he's not starting. He's coming in with that price tag. He's starting. Now here it is. The argument could be made between Aviles and Martinez. Aviles to me is a shoe-in for a starter. So those two are locked in. Right? Now Martinez is a good backup. Allen, who's also left back backup, is also a solid center back backup. And then Sailor, I mean, look, I'll take a Sailor for 7 minutes. You know, I'm not scared of him like I was of Christoph or like, what's this guy? Oh man, I was gonna say Matuidi, but McVeigh, I wasn't really scared. We had him, and then he ended up going to another team. I'm in Babibka. Players like that, like I was kind of nervous about, but I mean, Sailor, I don't have that same feeling.
No, and then remember, Ian Frey can play center back, which I would love for him to play center back, even though right back, I'm good with him because he balled out there. You had Lujan. Like, we have depth on the back line for starters and backups. So as far as the back line, I am good. I think that this back line is good. I think our midfield is good. Our forwards, if we could stay healthy, I think we're good there also. So tell me, we haven't talked goalkeepers yet. Up until now, chat, let me know. And Chris, let me know. Forwards, midfield, back line. Are we feeling good about this roster? Do you think we really need to add anything else at this moment? Because right now, I'm happy with this roster. Like, if we add Baltasar Rodriguez, that's adding more depth to our midfield. Maybe he can play a wing. I don't know. I don't know too much about him. I haven't looked into him because I don't know if he's coming. But I'm feeling really good about the team so far.
I mean, Mike V says it best. Like, okay, Mike, all right, hold on. Mike V, and for those of you in the chat, I mean, everybody's mentioning it. Francisco saying striker. Anton John, striker, right? Monkey Man says, yeah, we're okay. Ryan says, just a striker. Another striker for sure by Summer Sunshine. Like, everybody is saying striker at this moment, guys, without considering that we need a backup striker. Are we good? Yes or no?
Yeah,
without considering a backup striker.
I think everybody's good with, except for the whole striker position, which I can see.
Yes,
I can see that. But
we should put that on a poll next time.
We're gonna figure out how to do live polls.
I
can't promise. Once the weekdays start, guys, I have no time to do anything. But over the weekend, I'm gonna try to figure it out, and we're gonna try to start doing live polls on the show.
Everybody's saying yes, aside from Omar S, who says no.
He says we need a striker and a center back. I'm pretty good. Look, Toto Aviles, I'm telling you, I'm dying on that hill. He's going to have a big year. Falcon, I'm going strictly based off of what everybody tells me about him from South America, that he's going to be good. Dai Martinez was good until he got injured. And then we have Noah Allen, which has played well. We have Ian Frey, which is a baller. And then Lujan supposedly could play center back also. We haven't seen him yet, so I can't say too much about him. So far, I'm feeling good about the squad.
So now we get to the back of the back, to where everybody has been, and I starred these comments. I starred them, Danny. Rocco over Draker.
Don't forget.
Rocco ain't a backup now. John Paul. Don't forget about that trophy, guys. Omar S. Rocco saved 3 penalties. What are you homies talking about? Jay Rocco over Drake. John Paul Rocco over Drake. Omar saying Danny is a Rocco hater. John S. Rocco needs to start. Jay, Drake don't fit the system. I don't even know what to do with that, Jay. Is it because he doesn't speak Spanish?
No, it's because he's not good with his feet.
I mean, okay, so I'll
look at
bring...
This one. Look at Monkey Man. What a perfect name for this username. Rocco, my king?
Come on, man.
Come on.
Rocco's Modern Life. Like, I mean, what? Mo Farou is putting Drake as third string at this point.
I told you for a while that I didn't
think
Drake...
This is one game.
I did not think that Drake would be the goalie when the season started. I didn't. But because I thought that there would be somebody better coming in. As of right now, the only people that have come in, when you look at that graphic, are Rocco and Ustari. And I'm sorry. I prefer Drake over Rocco and Ustari. Now, again, I was very stubborn on Saturday. Watching it back, yeah, it was a simple mistake, that second one. Maybe he wasn't that bad. But it was one preseason game. Like, you guys are wild. The way that you're ready to kick Drake to the curb over one preseason game.
I'm just, look, and Sean Callahan says it best. Backup QB syndrome hits this chat hard all the time. I am the leader of backup quarterback syndrome. But, dude, this is one preseason game.
It's wild.
It's crazy.
Well, they've forgotten what Drake's done for this team.
Look at this. Drake is done. RL saying Drake is done. He's done. He's done. Like, that's it. Retire time.
It's ridiculous.
Drake is starting, Amanda says. So Amanda's trying to chill. She's trying to chill the chat. Florida Man is here rocking his Rocky out. And then Skrill is saying any goalkeeper over Drake. I mean, this is just awful.
Wow.
Bigote Drake is watched.
You guys,
he's just gasbagging. He's just gasbagging.
Yeah, you guys are horrible. You guys are absolutely horrible. You guys forgotten how good Drake can be.
He can't ride 23 Leagues Cup forever. I mean, he literally made
There's
one of
only
the biggest
two
stops
last year. There's only no, and that was a penalty one. And the first time they beat Columbus without Messi and Suarez, there was a one-on-one, Cucho versus Drake. And again, Cucho was the runner-up for MVP last year. One-on-one, and Drake stopped him. Drake shows up big for big games. And now I'm waiting for what about Atlanta? Okay, yeah, maybe he didn't have a good third game against Atlanta. But Drake is a good keeper, man.
I mean, look, John Paul saying Drake can't play with his feet, and he's old. He's 27 years old.
27.
27. Like, for you to be old as a goalie, you got to be like plus 40. No.
Yeah. No.
Because it's like
late 30s. Yeah, late 30s. I really wish that I had more time because I kind of want to make a Drake highlight video now because people have forgotten all the things that Drake has done.
You know what? You should, and I'm pretty sure there's going to be people out there that respect it enough. They're going to watch it.
Yeah, but I don't have time to do that stuff anymore. I used to make a lot of those highlight videos. But so it's down to Drake, Rocco, and Ustari. Unless, like by some miracle, we pick up somebody else. Like Keylor Navas just signed with, I forgot who it was. I think it was it New Old Boys? He signed with somebody in Argentina. I would have loved to have Keylor Navas. I'm assuming we couldn't afford him because with the rules here, he would have had to be a DP if he's getting big money. But I'm absolutely on the Drake needs to start if the competition is Rocco and Ustari. I think the way I think it's going to play out, if these are the players that are starting the season, I think Drake is the starter. I think Ustari is the backup. And I think Rocco plays for IMCF too.
I mean, Skrilla out here spitting fire. He says, I will make a highlights of Drake getting beat from the post.
Well, you don't have many goals to choose from because he allowed the third least amount of goals for anybody that played over 30 games last year. So,
I mean, look, the
slim
only news
pickings for you.
The only news that's happened recently is right. He missed his time with the U.S. friendly, right, for his injury. But other than that, like I think it's projected that he's going to play in the next game. And Bruni's asking about Cole Jensen. Cole Jensen's been sent to Winn-Dixie to go buy groceries. Like we're not even talking about Cole Jensen right now.
Mm-hmm.
Navas is a free agent, and you guys want to talk about old goalies?
No, I think he signed with somebody in Argentina today. I think today it was announced that they reached an agreement. Maybe they haven't officially announced it, but I believe it was reported that he signed the contract.
I mean, Mike V is about to go into the bins. I'm gonna make a highlight of Robles and Marksman so everyone learns to appreciate Drake.
Or just about 75 to 80% of the goalies in this league. Like, I think this is the problem. I don't know how many of you guys were watching the MLS before Messi or even before Inter Miami in 2020. Like, Drake is really good. like in this league, he is really good. You have maybe 5 goalies that you could say are better than Drake in this league. But I mean, Drake is a really good goalie. And I promise you, most teams would be thrilled to have Drake on their team. So
I think the problem is we're trying to keep it in the MLS scope, right? And a lot of people are comparing Drake to goalies around the world, right? Now, we're not saying that Drake is like a world beater. I think he has potential to be if he gets better with his feet, gets a little bit more dynamic, I guess. But
Bruni, I can't take you seriously if you're going to say Galesi.
Come on,
Bruno. If you say Galesi, then this is over.
Come on, Bruno, get out of here.
I'm 100% sure you think Galesi is the best goalie in the league.
Hiding in plain sight, Bruno.
All right. Okay. So, Chris, I haven't asked you. Who would you want starting, and do you think we need to add another keeper? Because I'll say this before you go. If the front office or Mascherano or anybody is set on Drake not being the starter, then we need another keeper.
Absolutely.
I don't want Ustari or Rocco starting.
I don't want Ustari starting because if he wasn't able to beat Drake last season, when Drake was, I guess we could say on the decline, because his best season was the year before, right? if Ustadi wasn't able to prove that he's better than Drake last season, then I don't want him to start over Drake this year. Now, Rocco's Modern Life, I don't think he's going to be better than Drake. I don't think so. Who knows? But I want Drake to start. And if it's not going to be Drake, then it's like you said, we need to start going into the bargain bin, and we need to find another goalkeeper ASAP.
Well, Sir Octi is saying we need to stop aiming for MLS standards. We are in international competitions. Very simple. That's fine.
I love that thinking. If we had that money.
Are you saying that Rocco is going to win us international competitions? I think that's ultimately what my question is. You can hate Drake all you want. That's fine. I didn't think he would be the starter this year. But I'm not happy with his replacements at the moment. So I think that he needs to start if the alternative is Ustadi and Rocco. That's all I'm saying. So, Sorakti, I'm with you. That's fine. But look at the other options. Look at the alternatives as of right now. Now, if Rocco starts the rest of the preseason and he looks amazing, maybe I'll change my mind. But as of right now, I'm sorry. I'm still on the Drake bandwagon.
Can I just mention something here? Because Rocco's Modern Life is 22. He's also from California, right? Now, I'm just looking at his experience. He played for Atlanta United.
The two team.
The two team. It shows that he played 21 to 22, but I don't think he played. I'm going to look into it further.
He's playing for the MLS next team or whatever that thing's
called. Then he played for Phoenix Rising, which is a USL team. Okay. Then he's with us. Other than that, he was with the Argentina U15, 16, and 17 team before that. So this is your guy. This is your guy who you want to play international tournaments with. So it's going to be essentially Haaland versus Rocco. That's what you guys want.
And actually, Omar is the first perfect person. Look, we were gonna have Tommy on, but he's watching, I think, the national championship game or something. So Tommy, Atlanta fan, said that the fan base that they weren't big fans of Rocco when he was playing for the 2 team, and I guess when he played a little bit for the 1 team. Omar is here saying that he won the USL championship with Phoenix. Okay, that's fine. It's USL.
Nice.
But job. Omar, tell me, how did people feel about him in Atlanta? Is Tommy telling the truth that people weren't fans of him, or were you guys in love with him and waiting for him to be the starter and he just never got the opportunity?
Soccer Daddy, you're saying, what about Drake? Drake has had a good standing with an MLS 1 team, with and without Messi. Won the starting job against Marsman, who was like sort of a proven goalkeeper who's played in bigger leagues, like earned his spot.
I'm waiting for Omar's comment. I'm wanting to see if he's, because I don't know. I'm just going by what Tommy said. Tommy said that Atlanta fans weren't big fans of him. And then there he goes. He's good with his feet, but he made dumb mistakes like the ones against Cruz Azul, but he just needs more minutes since he's only 22. Okay. So do you guys want to go with somebody that needs more minutes because he needs to mature? So we need to give him opportunities to grow while we're trying to fight for trophies. So he's learning on the go. Or do you want to get somebody who is 27 years old, more experienced, and if everybody's saying that he needs some competition, apparently he has competition now. So maybe he'll try to improve because everybody says that what he needed was competition. He apparently has it now. I'm going to ride with Drake.
Yeah. And look, John Paul's saying Rocco going to take the drugs Guzman took. Listen, if you give a bag boy at Publix the drugs that Guzman took, put him at goalkeeper. Okay. Now, yeah, go ahead.
And then my name is, you say it.
My name is Jeff.
How else do they learn, Danny? Yes, I get it. They need the experience. But is that what you want on this roster? We just went through the roster. We said this roster, they could win trophies.
This is it.
But you want our goalkeeper to be learning and getting his experience during these games? Before we play a regular season game, we're playing a Champions Cup game. Like, is that what you want right now? I mean, it's not a rookie, but that's the type of stuff that you say about rookies. Like, oh, they're going to learn as they go. They need to mature. Like, is that what you really want during this season? Somebody that just needs more minutes? Nah, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. No, that's absolutely. I'll go Ustadi before I go Rocco.
Need to work him in a little bit at the biggest time.
Yeah. Champions Cup game? Come on, Rocco. It's okay. You'll figure it out. You're crazy.
Yeah.
Calendar, and if not calendar, Ustadi, which I think Drake should go over Ustadi. But Ustadi. But Rocco, I'm sorry. Rocco should not be the starter on this team. Unless
Rocco,
like I said,
versus Cole Palmer.
Like I said,
what are we doing?
If he looks amazing, and like for a goalkeeper to look amazing, it takes a long time, right? Because you know it's not easy to like really stand out. But if he somehow stands out and looks amazing over the next couple preseason games, then maybe I'll come over to your side. But until then, I'm sorry. It has to be Drake, in my opinion, and then Ustadi.
I think what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna spend the next couple weeks figuring out how to use Photoshop. So I can Photoshop a 1v1 of Rocco versus every big player in the Club World Cup tournament. Like, I just want to put that together.
But that's what I didn't want to do, because this is what ends up happening. When I start defending a player, it almost sounds like I'm pooping on the other one. I have no problem with Rocco. Maybe he is good with his feet, and maybe with more time and more minutes, maybe he will get better. I don't doubt that. But I don't want him to get better on what I think is a championship team. I don't want to see him have growing pains this season. Have him in IMCF too, that's fine. But I don't want a goalkeeper that's going to go through growing pains while we're trying to win trophies. That's not what I want right now.
Rocco versus Mbappe. I mean,
look, Mbappe against Drake, Ustadi, or Rocco probably isn't going to end well on a one-on-one. But
look. And look, Rocco showed what he's capable of last game.
And
right?
Rocco is also shorter than Drake.
And so we're not taking anything away from Rocco. But you can't just toss out all of what Drake did for us and grew into and say that he's cooked. Like, that's what you guys are saying, that Drake Calendar's done. He's done.
Rocco is 5'10", and Drake Calendar is 6'2".
6'2", yes.
Yeah. I mean, and when it comes to goalkeeping, I think that also makes a difference. You could be a short keeper that's good. Like, look at Rene Guita. But, I mean, if you could pick, I would want a taller keeper.
Yeah. Of course. I mean, but for that, we could have just kept Mabika and taught him how to freaking play goalkeeper. He was like 6'6".
Dan, you would literally say we need to give people like Russell a chance to keep playing, even though he played like trash for half the season. Do you mean?
What?
Well, this is different.
He's hidden behind Messi.
Right. Well, the thing is, Gressel, was playing in the midfield, right? He's, like you said, there's players around him. I feel like goalkeeper is a very isolated position. And also, Gressel comes with a history of playing well. He won Rookie of the Year for Atlanta a couple of years ago. How many years had he played as a starter in the MLS? Like, at no point did we put Gressel on the pitch and say, all right, kid, you're going to get some growing pains, but let's go and do this. Like, no, he was experienced. So this is completely different.
He's a champion before us.
He won the championship with Atlanta. So I think it's different what I'm saying about Rocco and Gressel. Yeah.
It's not a little different, Danny. This is colossally different. This is Gressel, who is like a proven veteran, experienced, seasoned, versus Rocco's modern life, who just came from a USL team.
And just to say, Mascherano will not start Drake. We'll see. Look, if this becomes he doesn't start, kind of like Ian Frey didn't start over Cello, I mean, that's on Mascherano, and we'll judge him when he does that. Because that was something that I didn't like that Tata did. He didn't start Ian Frey, and we knew that he was playing much better than Cello.
We need to wrap this up, Danny, because if we stay here, we could literally do a 20, 30-minute show, probably more, talking about the goalkeeper position.
Well, we'll keep going with the conversation probably tomorrow. But one last thing before we get out of here. Like I told you. Oh, and by the way, we're going to have Las Garzas. That's us in Spanish at 10 o'clock, 10:05 tonight with Solana and Xavi. So make sure that you jump into that channel. We don't call it Batter Herons in Espanol anymore. Just Las Garzas. So feel free to jump on there. All right. For sure. And Sergeant says, Danny, I have a question. Go ahead and ask your question while we finish up here, and I'll try to get it in before we finish. So like I told you, Chris, there's 24 players on this graphic. There's only 20 players.
This is a really good episode, Mr. Krabs. What are you talking
There's only
about?
20 players that are on the senior roster, Chris. So 4 players are not going to make the cut. So I'll tell you right now. I'll start with the first one. One of the goalies will not make the cut. I'm going to bank on Rocco because we're not going to have 2 keepers. So I'm going to say Drake and Ustadi make it. So Rocco is 1 out. What do you say?
First, I need to bring up this Super Slam by Rick A. 199 Super Slam. A cardboard cutout of Robbie Robinson over Rocco. Good stuff by you, my friend. Sergeant is asking the question, do you think we lose to Atlanta with a different goalkeeper? I think we lose to Atlanta no matter who the goalkeeper was.
Yeah, it was their goalkeeper that stopped us.
Yeah.
And it's funny because I was going to bring it up. When you watch that goal where Atlanta beat us in game 3, it's crazy how the players stopped playing. They stopped playing, trying to call the ref's attention to Toto that was on the floor, and literally just they stopped defending. It was wild when I watched it over today. I've forgotten how bad that looked. So that had nothing to do with the keeper. Everybody just stopped playing, and they kind of left Drake out on the island. All right, so Chris, 4 people. I'm taking Rocco out because I don't think they're going to take 3 goalkeepers to the 20-man roster. Okay, who else?
Well, okay, so Rocco, take him out.
Okay.
Other than that, I think Sailor, maybe.
I think Ian Frey, just because I don't think he's going to be ready to go to start the season.
I think that's going to be the excuse they give. So Ian Frey,
I don't think he'll be ready that early. You think he'll be ready to go first day? No, I think you have to. In my opinion, you have to start slow with him. He has a history of injuries. I would play it slow.
Hold on. Florida Man's asking why the name changed, Danny. We changed the name because we wanted to change it.
Be more Spanish.
Yeah. Las Garzas to give it a Spanish title instead of the Batter Herons in Espanol. So,
yeah. And it's a 30-man roster, but only 20 can fill out the senior roster. We're not saying that. Yeah. No, these 30 are going to be on the team.
Yeah.
But 20 are on the senior roster.
So we got Novo out, Frey out. Other than that, I mean, the only other people that I see is probably Sailor, and I hate to say it,
David
but
Ruiz?
no, I think it might. It's got to be between Ruiz and Kramaki. Unfortunately,
I think that Gressel won't be on the team when the season starts.
Oh man, that's so killer, man.
I mean, I think he's a great backup. To have him as a backup is
phenomenal. He's phenomenal.
Flex. You have Julian Gressel as your backup. That's a flex, in my opinion.
Yes.
But I think Gressel won't be on this team. So I think that's 1 down. I think Rocco. I think Ian Frey. The JP also says Gressel. So I think that's how that's going to go. And if we add Baltasar Rodriguez, all of a sudden you got to figure something else out. Maybe Kramaki and Ruiz lose the spots. Is there a world where Yannick Bright isn't on there?
That's going to be a sad world because he's proven it in a time when he was needed the most. He pulled through for this team consistently.
Yeah, but you can't put either David Ruiz or Kramaski over Yannick Bright, though, right?
I mean, that's a tough situation to be in, to be honest. I mean, Mike V saying Taylor traded, maybe if they get.
Oh, did I freeze or did he freeze? Let me know, chat, because Chris just froze on my. I wasn't sure. You froze. I wasn't sure if it was me or him.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I think that this is going to be the Taylor and Gressel sweepstakes.
We'll see. All right. Well, this conversation can continue tomorrow. Make sure that you join us for Las Garzas in about 4 minutes. We'll be joined by Solana and Xavi, as we always do, because they are part of Las Garzas. So make sure you join in for that. If you want to keep talking some Inter Miami, we'll be revisiting last Saturday's preseason game. And Yeah, I'm just talking, just everything Garza. So make sure you join us. Any final words there, Chris?
Like and sub for the boys. Come on. Just real quick, click the like button.
If you are listening on audio, we appreciate you listening all the way to the end. Please give us 5 stars, comment, review, all that good stuff. If you're watching on YouTube, thank you for watching all the way to the end. Please like, subscribe, share, tell your friends. And as always, for those of you in the chat, you guys are the best part of the show. We appreciate you hanging out with us. And if for nothing else, make sure you jump onto the Spanish show so you can hear the new intro, because Chris cooked something else up. So make sure you jump on there, and we'll be on there in a couple minutes, and we got the new intro ready to go also. So until the next one, have a good one.